No,
Well, you know how, but the whole thing has changed so dramatically in the last few years. I remember only a few years ago, I was sitting around with some interns, some young men and women who were 18, 19, 20, and they were interning at Channel 5, actually. And we were talking about it happened to be the anniversary of the Kennedy assassination. Oh, yeah. And I happened to be working in Washington at that time, and so I was talking to these youngsters about what it was like, and one young lady looked at me and said, "Well, do you have all of your reports on videotape?" I said, "No, we didn't have videotape." No. She didn't have videotape?
Oh,
no.
Today, yeah.
You know, it's hard to imagine
that was the
for them.
Days
yeah,
them.
No videotape, no iPods, you know, no CDs, and somehow we managed to survive.
As an electrician, I wired up the first computer called Datamatic, and it took a whole building like this to have what you'd have on a laptop right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Oh, I'm so amazed by it. But your station is very popular.
Well, thanks. It's been on the air now for what, 12 years, and we've got a pretty decent audience, and always looking to get better and bigger.
Quick and easy. It is. It's very quick. You know, it isn't dragged out.
Well, we try. You know, there's a lot of time to fill. We're on 24 hours a day, too, you know. And this business has a voracious appetite for programming, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
You got to fill. I mean, some programs are repeated, obviously.
Maybe you ought to put some live bands in there.
Well, I understand you have a pretty good band.
Yeah,
so,
at least I think so.
That's not a bad idea. We should think about that.
It's a great band. It really is.
I'm trying to
play
get the
all
people to think so.
Beautiful music, and I love music.
Yeah,
I do too.
I love songs. I love the Torches.
The Torch songs? Oh, yeah?
Well, you know, like I tell my kids when I die, you know, in the Catholic Church with the hymns, but I said, I'm going to still try to make arrangements for when I'm going up the aisle and play I'll Be Seeing You.
That can be
done.
That
was during the war. Get it?
Yeah, I don't know. Great old song.
I understand that you do a little bit of singing.
I do. Yeah. I did a lot of singing in my youth. As I told you, I started singing actually on a kids' television show when I was 12 in upstate New York, and I was on that program every other week until I was 19. And in college, I sang with a band, and I did some musical comedy stage shows in college. And you know, thought I was going to go in that direction for a while, but as I said, having failed at that, I turned to news, and I've been doing that now for
Well, you're really good at the news anyhow, so you got to do what you're good at.
But I love to sing and you know, do karaoke, and you know, I sing in the shower. And
that's what I want to ask you. My son got karaoke, my oldest boy, when it first came out. If you go in his house, you hand it a mic, everybody sings with karaoke. I think he thinks he was a Bond star because everybody has to sing.
Great. I mean, it's great. You know, in some respects, it's therapy. I sing some of the older songs, and it's fun.
That's what I like.
Good, you know, there's a place right where I live that has karaoke on Wednesday nights, and it's a good group. You know, they're mature people. Nobody gets out of line, and we all, you know, have a great time.
Doesn't your daughter sing with you sometimes?
Well, she did. No, she did once. My youngest daughter, who will be 25 in May, she sang with me at a fundraiser for Larry Izzo. He's a New England patriot, and he has this foundation who raises money for veterans. And she and I did, just for fun, did it. She's not a singer, but I talked her into it and come up and do this thing with me.
Yeah. But I used to love piano lounges, so I know I love the karaoke places.
Well, yeah, remember that? People would sit around the piano and somebody would play softly.
I used to love, what's the name over to the Lennox, the old lady?
Gladys Truppett.
Yeah.
Been there many times.
I used to love to go there.
Were you on the Elvis Presley era?
Well, Elvis became a big star when I was working at a radio station in my hometown. I was 15, 16 years old when Heartbreak Hotel came out. Yeah. But just to show you, I like the other side of that record. You know, there were no CDs then. Yeah. But on the 45, Heartbreak Hotel was the big hit. The other side was a song called I Was the One.
Yeah.
And I kept playing that, thinking I'd make a big impact on the rest of the country. Yeah, I was, you know, an Elvis fan,
Yeah.
sure.
No, the only thing I liked by him was it was a Don Ho number, Till It's Time for You to Go.
Oh, yeah,
By Elvis.
good. I love Don Ho, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Although, funny thing is, I saw him in Hawaii 2 years ago, and time has not been terribly kind to him. Still has the voice, but he walked out on stage, and you know, I said, "Oh my God," because there were pictures in the room of he was the Hawaiian Elvis when
Yes,
he was,
yeah.
you know, 25, 30 years old. I mean, Don Ho is a very handsome guy, great voice, still has the pipes, but
Yeah. I saw him, we went to the club. I'm president of the Everett Retired Men's Club. And we went to a day trip and we saw him. And he sits behind like a piano, but he's not doing
not
anything but
playing
singing.
it.
Yeah.
He sat through most of the performance
yeah,
when I saw him in
yeah.
Hawaii a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's all he can do now, sit down.
Yeah.
No,
And he
that
has-
was a beautiful song. Well, I like
Tiny
all
Bubbles
that
was
type
his
of
big
song.
one, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but see, I'm not a Tiny Bubbles person.
Pearly Shells, Tiny
Yeah,
Bubbles.
yeah, great
we
stuff.
used to play all those.
Great stuff.
I had a
love
guitar
the
player.
a song that says something.
Exactly.
Heartache or heartbreak. I
Well,
love
it's
them.
one of the reasons that I particularly like country western music.
Yeah, they say
because
something.
There's a story, and my youngest daughter went to school in Nashville. She went to Vanderbilt and just got out 2 years ago. But I used to love to go to see her, not just to see her,
Because
although
of
I
the
loved
music
to see
there.
her. But I'd go to the Grand Ole Opry and
Oh,
go to a
that's
place called the White Horse Saloon, which was a famous place in Nashville where a lot of country western singers come. Some of them, you know, get off the bus with a guitar slung over their shoulder, and they come in and sing for their supper, and they're trying to get discovered, and it was great fun.
Oh,
Yep,
it is fun.
God bless them.
You were right when you said it's very stimulating to be able to go and sing or play something.
It is.
Because it's my total relaxation now.
Yeah.
I play the xylophone and I just love it.
If I ever got down, which is seldom, I should, I don't allow myself to get the blues thing. That would bring me out of it.
Just
Those
to listen to
songs, the
some- yeah,
sad songs,
yeah.
and they say,
Yeah.
oh, that would be depressing. I said, no, it brings you out of it if you listen to the story.
Well, although some of them are pretty depressing.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
some
well,
of the,
no, I don't
you know,
listen to
some of the
those.
old country western songs.
Yeah,
My
no.
son calls another man daddy.
Oh,
Some of
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
You didn't love
Patsy
me when
Cline.
you had me, and now that you've lost me, do you
Yeah.
still love me blues?
That's Patsy Cline. Yeah. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you're interested in that stuff.
Well, I love music, and I'll
yeah.
always, you know, as I said, it's, in a lot of ways, it's therapy.
I
Yeah,
know one thing.
it is.
Most everybody in this area know you from being on. You were on
Well,
Channel 5 or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that one time.
came here in 1968, and
You were at Channel 5.
to Channel 5, and before that I was in New York, and before that in Washington,
Yeah.
and before that in Rochester, New York, and before that in school, and
But you were born and brought up in New York.
upstate New York, yes, in Amsterdam, and stayed there until I went away to school in 1956, and graduated from college in 1960, and just got into this. Well, I'd been doing some of the news, and
Yeah.
I was a disc jockey for a while, and you know, but I wanted to pursue, majored in communications, and
Yeah, it's great. It's a great field. People
I
get to
think
know
it's
you.
really
It's
Like
wonderful.
the first thing when I saw you when I walked in here, I said to you, I know you so well, but
Yeah.
this is the first time you've ever seen
Well,
me. See?
yeah, but it's really nice to have people come up. Some of my friends say, well, doesn't it bother you when people come up if you're in a restaurant or in the supermarket or at the gas station? No, because if nobody came up and said hello,
Yeah,
it would
that's
mean
right.
that nobody was watching. you
Yeah.
know? So, I mean, I love to meet people.
Yeah.
People come up and say, hey, hello, I've watched you for
Well,
years.
your program shows friendliness. We can see
Oh,
it in
thanks.
your structure, the way you handle things.
There's only one thing that now, at my advanced age, that bothers me just a wee bit when somebody comes up, some young, attractive woman says, oh, Mr. Curtis, I've been watching you since I was a little girl. Thanks a lot. You know?
Yeah. No, when I called you and I left a message,